Hello, I'm Mark Becker, President of Georgia State University, and welcome to GSUTV.
We here at GPB are very excited about our partnership with GSU, and we're particularly excited about all the fantastic programming that the students are going to be bringing to you. As a matter of fact, we've got a couple of great student producers right behind the camera now.
This is a really interesting situation because on the one hand this is a television channel and it's got a primary focus of providing content for television for a broadcast channel. And it's got a requirement and responsibility to do that. On the other hand, it's a learning environment. It's a place where students come to get experience and to learn skills. And so they're learning them in a real world setting where they're having to produce content.
President Becker, what makes this partnership with Georgia Public Broadcasting so unique?
This partnership with Georgia Public Television provides students with access to state-of-the-art production facilities, as well as the opportunity to work side by side with industry professionals.
Being able to go on location, set up a shoot, interview people, it's technically an assignment, but it's for so much more. I mean, it's going to be broadcast on TV, and so, you know, having the pressure to really go in and create the highest quality work you can, because you know that it's not just going to be turned in for a grade. You know, that was one thing that I learned, is just how to push yourself beyond just meeting the grade, but really doing something that you know you're gonna want to show people, because it's just, you know, that's where it's gonna end up. The thing that I spent the most time doing was being a producer for Georgia Detours. Georgia Detours is a show that wants to take audiences to places that are a little bit off the beaten path. So we're wanting to take you away from your normal touristy places and typical restaurants and venues and attractions and all kinds of things like that, and we're wanting to take you to things that are a little bit lesser known but have just as much value as the places that everyone seems to know about.
Hi, my name is Deborah Pierre and welcome to Georgia Detours. We were taking a drive through North Georgia and we took a detour to find Folk Pottery Museum, Road Atlanta in Braselton, Georgia, Chateau Ilong in Braselton, Georgia, Babyland General Hospital. Welcome to Georgia Detours. As soon as I heard that I'd be working with real industry professionals, I was really excited to learn about working with cameras, learning how to be a producer, learn how to edit on software that I had never really gotten a chance to work with before. And I've also been doing a lot of producer work, which involves setting up different shoots. It's more of them putting students in the hot seat of letting us show them what we are able to do. And we are in a real world setting where we are producing, we're editing, we're shooting real content. It's hands-on, and that's much more of a learning experience versus sitting down in a classroom.
Somebody can tell you something, but I guess sometimes it doesn't really click until you're out there doing it. They can tell you white balance or focus or any of the other things, but it's not the same as when you're actually doing it. The shoots that we go on teach you very quickly. You can go in not having much knowledge, and within the day you'll learn a lot, because that's when you really do learn the most, is when you're out there doing things. Getting the experience and getting it a lot, that really helps. I really like working with the camera and just seeing how everything plays out, getting to meet all these really different people, going into these locations that I probably wouldn't have been before. That's been a lot of fun. The fact that it's being broadcast is what is really keeping me here, coming back in the summer, even after the semester already ended. because I know the work that I've done and the work that we've put so much into will be out there. We want it to be as good as possible. I think it's really great because they've never had anything like this before. And so I'm just really lucky that when I decided to come here, they offered this. So I just feel really lucky.
I think the total vision of everybody involved in this, myself, President Becker, the folks at GPB, the students, are to give the students a well-rounded education that includes not only the foundations and the principles, but also the practical applications, what you really need to know to get a job right now. Resumes are great, you know, having a degree from a university is great, but when you go in to sit down in front of somebody and try to get a job, everybody wants to see the work. As part of our mentoring process with the students, we take them from A to Z. You know, we not only teach them the practical applications of production and post-production, but we also develop their skill sets in regard to the development of content.
Louisiana, yeah, you're home to me, said way down south. Georgia, right, Louisiana, yeah, you're home to me.
GSUTV will bring you the very best in arts and entertainment.
Really, just we're an independent band, and we don't have big marketing, we don't have big label or anything like that. So what we want to do is get it in people's ears and get it in people's phones, and really just get a growing fan base and hopefully develop a cult following so that we can do this for as long as we can. So I'm coming home, back to where I'm from.
Nothing calls me like the Southern Appalachians, in particular this whole region here. It calls me home, it really does.
along the way, we'll visit places off the beaten path.
Well, the museum traces the folk potters here in northeast Georgia starting about 1820. And this tradition is a tradition of stoneware that began in the Edgefield district of South Carolina when potters were looking for a way to make stoneware without using salt in the glaze. And they developed a glazing system using local clays and lime and wood ashes, which is an alkaline mixture, and that's where the term alkaline glaze comes from. So this greenish glazed pottery that you see throughout the museum is really what makes Southern pottery Southern. The face jug is very special in this part of Georgia, and a lot of people have questions about where face jugs came from. And every culture has some kind of anthropomorphic clay vessel, a clay vessel with a face or a figure on it. But in the South, we believe that perhaps it was introduced by slaves in Edgefield who had recently come from Africa. Dave Drake is an interesting figure because he was a slave potter in Edgefield, South Carolina, but he had worked at a newspaper and so was taught to read and write, which was very unusual for the time period. He would sign his pieces and date them, and so they're highly sought after today because of the amount of information that we have on Dave Drake himself. This particular jar is signed with the initials LM up here on the rim, and LM stands for Lewis Miles. Lewis Miles was the pottery owner and the owner of Dave at the time that this pot was made. This writing up here is actually the handwriting of Dave himself.
Hi, my name is Deborah Pierre and welcome to Howard Finster's Paradise Gardens in Summerville, Georgia. Today we're going to take a look at the 59-year-old's way of recycling beautiful artifacts. He was an engineer and he also was a folk artist.
When we talk about folk art, it's usually self-taught artists that are kind of outside. Folk art is usually self-taught artists, and I don't know if you know this, but Howard is known as the grandfather of folk art here in the South. And he had no formal training as far as the fine arts goes. In fact, he just had a 6th grade education.
Howard Finster only had a 6th grade education, and he created this entire world of art, both outside and inside. Howard was a man of faith. He loved to preach and incorporate Christianity throughout all of his art pieces.
He preached for years and years and years. He was a Baptist preacher, and God inspired him to create the garden. He's known as a recycling artist, and if you look around here, he never threw anything away. He would incorporate bottles, marbles, broken glasses, teacups, anything that he could find that people would give to him, he would use in some fashion here in the garden. We're becoming an artistic community, and there's always been this vibrancy here in the county as far as arts goes, but we're showing, we being the board, are showing how the arts play such a major role in everyday life around Chattanooga County. We're getting people involved, we're getting students out. There's just all sorts of events going on here.
And we'll visit very interesting people.
What's your name again?
Tony Campbell. I'm the Director of Retail here at the Made in Georgia store at the Irwin Street Market. We're kind of a mix between a community kitchen and all things that are made here in Georgia.
My name is Robert Lundy, and my day job, I work for a nonprofit, but I really sit behind a desk all day, and I like working with my hands. So you see this chair is made 100% from pallet wood.
My name is Takahiko Tsuchiya.
My name is Thomas Newsom, and I'm the Assistant Communications Director of the Baldwin Robotics team.
Anjani Ganapathy. I'm the Communications Director for our team, so I do a lot of the marketing.
I am Todd Pitter, and we are two fun guys, and we grow mushrooms.
My name is Alice in Wonderland.
Let's start with this. Jordan Wakefield, the Executive Chef, Smoke Green Barbecue in Atlanta, Georgia.
My name is Kimberly McMichael. I am the coach of Ultraviolet Robotics. It's an all-girls team.
Boy meets girl and they separate and they get back together and then she dies.
Hard to concentrate with him doing that.
Giant Studios is a motion capture technology and service company that leverages proprietary software for performance capture and animation for feature films and video games. We were very fortunate in that the first project we landed was with Peter Jackson and Weta Digital for Lord of the Rings trilogy. And the assignment was to help them bring Gollum to life. And Gollum was the character played by Andy Serkis. I don't believe there's anyone on the planet that could have played that character better. Seeing him playing Gollum sitting on a rock in that gray suit, rocking back and forth and switching between Gollum and Smeagol was an incredible performance. It was bone-chilling. It was amazing.
The Plastic Gyre was a symposium that was part of the Atlanta Science Festival that was presented here at Georgia State and at the CDC. A gyre is a current system, and the entire symposium addressed the topic of plastic pollution and how it affects us, humans, as we trample through life and just kind of clumsily leave everything trailing behind us.
We made a film asking the question, why is garbage from as far away as Asia showing up on remote beaches in Alaska?
I think it's important for people to learn about plastic pollution. When we talk about plastic pollution, we're talking about single-use and disposable plastics.
You know, these are the ghosts of our consumption. I think they're haunting the natural world in a terrifying way.
That the Florida Retail Federation is a tremendous opponent of local communities regulating plastic bags. They speak publicly, it's on their website, it's something they're very open about, that they don't think a local community, a city or a county should have that ability to regulate plastics.
An albatross that I got to know when it was alive, and it was spreading its wings and catching the breeze, and I could tell, oh, it's gonna fly away any day now, because that's what they do. And then it keeled over and died, and so we did a necropsy, and we discovered this stomach tight as a drum, full, impacted, full of plastic.
The environment is a really important issue. Everyone cares about it. What I think is wonderful about environmental issues is that it really should not be Republican or Democrat or libertarian. Everyone should care about protecting our special places. You know, if we don't have a clean environment, we cannot be healthy.
My name is JJ Kelly.
My name is Deanna Cohen.
My name is Asha J. I'm Stephanie Stuckey Benfield.
My name is Olivia Reese.
Captain Charles Moore.
Carter.
Susan Middleton.
Holly Parker.
It's just not viable anymore. It's draining our resources, it's polluting our planet, and ultimately it's compromising human health.
I was a part of a great team that got to film that and got to be a part of that and be inspired by that. And I know National Geographic has had some part in that whole project. So it's really just an amazing experience to be tethered to all of these people at such a fresh start that we've just had back in January, to already be progressing so far with something like the Gyre project. I think the one thing that I'll take away from this is just being really grateful that I got the experience to see all of this stuff firsthand, all the production and what it's like to be a producer.
I'd like to say thank you to Georgia State University for creating such a program that allows me to have the opportunity to do professional work and have it presented to the public, and I'm just very honored to have been a part of this production.
So as you've seen and heard, GSUTV has some exciting programming in store for you.